Good morning, Carrot River. We're so excited to be here. So beautiful here. Oh my goodness. I want to move here. So you're in for a special treat today because you get the ladies instead of the men. So I just had to say that. But who here was here, knows about Teen Challenge or saw the men come before? Oh, awesome. Has anyone not heard of Teen Challenge before? Awesome. I know that you guys are, just as important to us as partners in this ministry because of your prayers. And we have, the staff that work at the program, but you are part of it. And we couldn't do the work, God's work, without your prayers and your support in other ways. So right now, I just want to thank you all so much. We need that. We need the prayers. I know I'm alive today because of prayer. Who else knows that? Because of the blood, like we've been singing about. Cool. So, yes, today we just want to share a bit about the program that we do and Prairie Hope Women's Center. We'll talk about that a little bit and just why we have our ministry of Teen Challenge. There's so many hurting and broken and lost around the world, and we believe that we were called to make a difference and to be the hands and feet of Jesus and to share the good news that we all know. So that people can know that there is hope, people that are struggling. So there's a huge need for our ministry. Mental health and addictions is just growing at a rapid pace. I don't know if you noticed that around where you live, but we sure noticed that in Saskatchewan, places that we're around and that we go. So, and my slide person, thank you. If I forget to say next slide, you can just figure it out, I'm sure. But yeah, the next slide. This is a very high level, but what happens in a person's life? Why do they get addicted and other people don't? I used to ask myself, I'm Cindy McFarlane, and I have the honor of working for Teen Challenge Canada, and I represent the Men's Center and the Women's Center. But I am also a graduate of this program, and this program God used as the vessel, as the tool to save my life when I had no hope. And that's why I asked for Kleenex. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for God and this ministry because God used this ministry to, save my marriage, get my children back. And now I actually get to serve here. It's just so amazing. So I used to think, never in a million years did I think I would struggle with addiction in my life, ever. But it's no respecter of persons. No respecter of persons. It can happen, affects men, women, all ages, from all walks of life, throughout our country. Often, it's childhood traumatic experiences that happen in childhood, and you grow up and you don't know how to deal with that pain. You're not shown how to process that pain, and so that becomes, that carries into adulthood, and it can add life. Life is hard. I'm sure we can all agree that till we get to heaven, like Jesus said, you will have trouble in this world, but take heart, I have overcome the world. So, and then it becomes like numbing, to numb our pain, because we don't know how to deal with our pain. So, and then becomes the bondage to it. So I never thought when I took my first drink in my 20s that it would be destroying me. But the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So, but there is hope. So I love the verse in the Bible, in Mark and another gospel, but when Jesus was having supper with all the sinners, that story, and all the religious people were like, what are you doing at his house? What are you doing having supper with them? And Jesus said, healthy people don't need a doctor, sick people do. This is Mark 2:17. I have come to call not those who think they are righteous, but those who know they are sinners. And that verse, actually, when I was in my Teen Challenge program, it's like, you know, when you're reading the Bible and like the words come off the page and they become alive and you know that God is speaking directly to you. That verse, because the shame that I carried and the self-hate and the worthlessness, all the lies I believed from the enemy, I'm like, I am the worst of sinners, and God came for me. And then it was just like, yeah, that was amazing. It was such a light bulb that went on, knowing God loves me just as I am. And he died for me on that cross just as I was, and for all of us. So is there the next slide, is there any numbers people here? Any accountants? No. Well, I'm definitely not a numbers person, but I'll just quickly go through some statistics about addiction in Canada. Since 2015, opioid poisonings have accounted for more deaths in Canada than motor vehicle accidents. So it's a big epidemic. In Canada, between 2016 and 2024, in Canada, of almost 50,000 deaths from fentanyl. And in 2024, the national average was 21 deaths a day in Canada. So, and right here in Saskatchewan, we have the highest rate of addiction than any other province in Canada. So it's in our own backyard. It's here, the need is here. And so we are here to help, to be a hope for that need and those people that are struggling. So the rough estimate is about 14% of Saskatchewan residents have an addiction to drugs or alcohol. So I was looking at, I Googled the Carrot River population. Me and Cadence were doing that. So it says there's about 850 people that live in Carrot River. So if you take 14% of that, right here, 120 people right now are struggling in addiction. So could be your neighbors, could be, so the need is here. Anyways, so that's kind of staggering. So a bit about our program. I loved, it's a hard program. Like, it's not easy. Maybe, is this the next slide? Okay, sorry, I'll talk about that. So this is our men's center, and this is has anyone been there? Oh, nice. Yeah, so that is in Allen, Saskatchewan, and our men's center, so you obviously had them visit last time, and we love our men there. And then the next one is our women's center. So as you can see, the women need a more beautiful home, apparently. But we are so grateful for this. So I'll tell you a little bit. So Prairie Hope Women's Center opened in March 2019. So we've been open 7.5 years now. And this home is all paid for because it was about 10 years of praying and planning, and lots of trades donated to make this place. So this place is all provided by God's family and God, obviously, and the land was donated. But it's the only center in Canada, that Teen Challenge, that was specifically designed and built for the program needs in mind. So it's a really beautiful place to come and heal, and it's in the country. So this center is located just north of Saskatoon, just beside a town called Hague, if you know that area. So you can actually, if you're driving from Saskatoon to Prince Albert, you can see it off the highway, 2 kilometers. So yeah, so we've had 7 years of women coming through this program and being restored to their children or daughters to their families, or going to back to school, going into ministry, going into school for addictions counseling, and giving back. So it's so amazing to see that. And the next slide. So our mission is to demonstrate God's love by helping individuals become free from substance addiction, but also equipping them to live full and meaningful lives. So I am going to call Carly up to share her story with you now.
Holy smokes. Hi, I'm Carly. I'm a little nervous. It's my second time saying this to people, so. Hi, my name is Carly. I'm 28 years old, and I grew up on the reservations in Laurent, Saskatchewan. I'm a mother to a beautiful 9-year-old daughter. I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers. I was raised by my mother and stepfathers with 2 of my sisters. I tried to have a relationship with my dad as a teenager, but I felt like the black sheep in that I did not belong to that family. I don't remember much about my childhood. I think I have blocked most of it out. My mother was very strict and definitely raising her daughters to be independent. My life was surrounded by alcoholism and chaos, and that is all I ever knew. I was a needy, super active child with such a big heart, so basically a normal child. Generational trauma is such a hard topic for me to address, even as a grown adult. I feel scared to say my truth. But know that I have God shielding me, so now I feel safe to bring this to light and begin healing. I carry so much guilt from my childhood. I was always trying to protect my parents when I should have been the one being protected. I was pushed aside, ridiculed, insulted, and made feel like I was the problem. School is my happy place to be. I was able to be a child and given care and attention and had lots of fun. In 5th grade, I had the most amazing teacher. She was so kind and loving and cared for my needs that I never got met at home. My first crush was about this time, when my teacher's 18-year-old son made a comment, 7 or 8 more years, which started a longing curiosity within me for attention. And in a few years, we started talking on social media in ways I should not have been, and it really influenced my young mind. At age 15, I started drinking, smoking, and running away. My best friend took me to a party where I was sexually assaulted for the first time. I was so ashamed and mad at myself for it happening. My best friend made me feel like it was no big deal, so I told no one. Alcohol, marijuana, and sex became a big part of my life to help me forget that night and the guilt that came with it. My mother would call me a name in Cree, something a mother should never call her child, but actually became what she called me. I also realized I could use my looks and charms to get attention from men, and the attention itself was a high. By age 18, I was struggling in full addiction and I made a decision to have a baby. I believed that if I had my own child to care for and someone who would love me unconditionally, then this would be my reason to stay sober. But instead, I just brought a child into my chaotic life. Now I'm learning that it is God's unconditional love that I was searching and longing for. We moved around a bit, couch surfing. Life was so hard, not having a home, safe refuge to raise my daughter, and I began drinking again. I did end up getting into school in a place for my daughter, and I got accepted into an electrical program in Saskatoon. I was so excited and proud of myself. Then COVID happened, and all that fell apart. And I was living at my mother's again. I felt robbed and was so mad at the world. I started using cocaine, again, the only way I knew how to cope with my failures. As time went on, I grew deeper in my resentment and hatred for this unfair world, and my life continued to spiral downward. I lost custody of my daughter, and she ended up back in L'Orange with my mother, the very place I was trying to get her and I to escape from. I was alone, broken, and mad that this happened, and I blamed myself. I couldn't and had no desire to sober up. During this time, a terrible thing happened. I was held captive in my own apartment by a man I knew who brutally assaulted me for hours. I had such PTSD and guilt and shame from this. For 4 years, I hid from this and continued to stuff my pain, eventually trying harder drugs. The drugs take all human emotions away, and you lose all sense of right and wrong. I was living a life running from responsibility and believed I was damaged goods, and that no one would ever want to be with a woman like me, so broken, scarred, and selfish. I believed I was beyond saving, but inwardly crying for help. I continued to lose myself, getting really hurt by family, and I had literally nothing left. I tried ending my life a couple times because I believed my daughter was better off without me. But I know now that God had other plans for me. I love Psalms 118, verse 17, that says, I will not die, instead I will live to tell what the Lord has done. Last year, I was homeless on the streets, begging for food. I started praying more to help me fight, to get my daughter back, my life and my daughter back, and to heal from the pain I was running from. I know God was answering my prayers one time after I got shot in the leg. I remember asking God, why can't I just go home? And I just kept hearing, God has a plan for you, and you need to go through this, and you'll help people. I had experience in my childhood, seeing how happy and loving Christian families were. I always dreamt of this life because it was just a fairy tale to me. However, I made a very difficult choice one day to say goodbye to my old self. But I know God was leading me. Despite believing I had no purpose in my fear of being judged and rejected, I walked into a church in Prince Albert. I was greeted with so much love and acceptance. God heard my cries and never gave up on me. He patiently waited for me to stop living my way and surrender my life to Him. I went to a faith-based recovery group at the church, and I met my friend Rebecca, who showed me unconditional love and invited me to come live with her and her family. God sent her to show me unconditional love and patience, and she held me when I cried and cried with me. She spoke truth to me every day and reminded me that I was not all the terrible things I called myself, and I was not just a product of my past. She showed me the love of Jesus, and I started to believe I might be worthy of being loved. I did not deserve the terrible things that happened to me. While with Rebecca, I was getting ready to go to Teen Challenge, and God made a way for me to go get my daughter, and now she's living with Rebecca while I'm here. God has brought me and my daughter into a safe place and is healing both of us. I came to Prairie Hope Women's Center on March 11, 2026, and I am now 6 months sober. I'm happy, thriving, and know I'm loved, and feel so blessed to call myself a child of God. I used to focus on everyone around me and be a people pleaser. Here I'm learning that I can't change the way people want to see me, but I'm building my new identity around my relationship with God and how He sees me. I'm learning healthy ways to deal with my anger, have healthy boundaries, and move forward step by step, and I trust fully in Him. God is teaching me how to run to Him when my emotions feel unbearable and when life gets hard, instead of running away or using drugs. I'm practicing to keep my focus on Him on hard days, and He's continually giving me strength when I feel like giving up. I love working in the garden, seeing God's creation, listening to gospel music, and learning from all the reading materials I've been getting. I love cooking and baking for the girls. I don't know what my future holds, only He does, but I'm excited for this journey to be the mother God created me to be. I want to share the good news with others and let them know there is hope, no matter how hopeless your life seems. I would like to share one of my favorite Bible verses to you. It's Psalms 18, 1-3, and verse 19. I love you, Lord. You are my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, my Savior. My God is my rock, in whom I find protection. He is my shield, the power that saves me, and my place of safety. I called on the Lord, who is worthy of praise, and He saved me from my enemies. He led me to a place of safety. He rescued me because He delights in me. Thank you for listening and your prayers and support.
Thank you so much, Carly. That's not easy to do that. So Thank you for being so brave and vulnerable with us. And God's arm is not too short. You know, we can feel, I remember believing all those same lies before I was able to come back to Jesus in the program, in that safe place. You know, we feel like we're damaged goods. We're no good. I believed my kids didn't want or need me as well. I can't even believe I believe that now, but the enemy can get you if you don't have the armor on. That's another sermon, another day. God's armor. But anyways, God's arm is not too short. He can lift you out of anything, no matter how far gone or what maybe you're here and you don't really relate to drug or alcohol addiction, but I know everyone can relate to feeling defeated, feeling hopeless, you know, in your circumstances, this side of heaven. Like I said, like we all know it's hard here, but maybe it's finances, maybe it's physical illness, maybe it's grief, you know, all the things. Maybe it's depression. Nothing is impossible with God. And he does hear our cries, every cry. And when we were driving here, we were kind of having that conversation. I know I'm all over the place. We were kind of having that conversation, though, like how we were talking, how we've come. God's brought us into this safe. We call it the first phase of one of our recovery models is a safe refuge, because we're in this safe place. You know, where we have no distractions, and God can start healing us, and we can start. We're feeling everything now. We used to numb everything. Oh, we're feeling all the things, you know, good and bad. But God, and we were talking about how, you know, just because we come to Jesus, it doesn't mean our life gets easy, right? Like, sometimes it can even get harder because we're on this side of heaven. But Jesus is with us, and he never leaves us to forsake us, and he went through all of that, right? And he walks through it with us. So I love that we were talking about that on the way here, and I just thought of it. I believe the next slide is talking about how our program is hard. Yeah, so it's called Challenge for a reason. You know, it's not easy at all. I should get these ladies up here to tell you. But but it works. It works because why? Because we believe Jesus is the answer and God is the catalyst for change. And it's because finding our identity in him and how much he loves us. And we can start replacing those lies we believed with the truths that like you said this morning, we're children of God, right? The creator of the universe, where he adopts us as his children. That's so amazing. So yeah, like you're 12 months. It's a 12-month program. You're away from your family. That's hard. I remember the pain of being separated from my children in the program, but I already was, because I was already down that path. And so, but now you're feeling all the feelings, right? You're going through mental and physical withdrawal symptoms. You're living with how many other women, you know, and emotions happen. And so you're going through intensive, what I love about Teen Challenge too is you get down to you have a year, right? And that's not even that long when you think about if you've been struggling with addiction for 12, 15, 20, 25 years of your life, maybe since childhood, you know? And so now it's like, well, why is Cindy numbing her pain? What is Cindy's root causes? What is Cindy's trauma? And you get to unpack that. Amazing Christian counselor there that they have, and classwork and Bible study. And I remember I did go to 1 year of Bible school, when I was 20. And then I went through Teen Challenge, and I was like, this is more intense than my Bible school was. Like, we get into the Word, because you have to get that in your heart and in your mind, right? The word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path, and we can start feeling hope again and getting worth again, and knowing that we have purpose, right? And so anyways, we do have trauma-informed staff, so we all get up-to-date training just to know how to best love our clients and walk alongside them through this healing program. So yeah, it's not easy. So I just say that whoever walks through those doors is the most courageous women and men that I've ever met. I was terrified walking through those doors, terrified. And so I just, another clap to you ladies. And then our graduates can live full and meaningful lives like our mission. So many, they become contributing members of society. We love giving back. We love sharing our hope. I hope you don't mind if I share about you, Carly, a little bit, but she is just, all these ladies teach me so much. Just like every day God's teaching you something new, and when you share it with me, I'm like, oh my goodness, I love it. And then I either need to be taught that or I need to be reminded that, and it's just so amazing. And how God's also teaching your daughter to play the same song we sang this morning, Power in the Blood, on the recorder, and how God is restoring your family. It's amazing. So, man, I should stop talking and bring up Cadence here to share her story with us.
Good morning. I'm just slightly taller than you two. My name is Cadence. I am 23 years old. I grew up in a small town in central Alberta. During my childhood, life at home was very turbulent. My father was an addict who was always in and out of my life. And when he was home, there was very frequent chaos and abuse that had happened. That led to feelings of being unwanted and like I was to blame and I was deserving of a bad life. By the age of 7, I had experienced depression and anxiety, and I felt like I didn't want to be on the earth anymore. By the age of 13, because of my pain, I would drink before school just to get through the day. Through all of that, though, I was still raised in a Christian home by my wonderful mom and my grandparents. However, my addiction continued to spiral downwards because I had believed a lie that God hated me. These false beliefs were instilled in my mind, and they caused me to continue to numb my pain with non-prescribed pills. At 18, I had gotten diagnosed with bipolar affective disorder, and I had spent some time in and out of psychiatric wards due to depressive episodes and multiple suicide attempts, because at that point, I had felt like death was more fathomable than living. I was anorexic, and I had despised every little thing about myself. Shortly after, I had tried cocaine once, just innocently thinking I would do it only that one time in hopes that it would answer some of the questions that I had burning deep inside of me. The questions like, why would my father want to choose this over his family? And what is so good about it? That one innocent time, I can tell you, turned into years of abusing it every single day. It had consumed me completely, and I had eventually found myself tangled up in the web of a crack cocaine addiction. I had gone to rehab before at that point, but I was never committed. In March of 2025, I had graduated a different program, but I was not serious about getting clean, and I relapsed around 3 months after. Eventually, I got consumed by the monster that is crystal methamphetamine because nothing's ever good enough, and I had promised myself I would never touch it. See, these substances had taken over my life, and I could no longer bear who I had become. A broken woman living in oblivion of my selfishness, of my addiction. I had become a fraud, a liar, and I was in denial. I decided I could not do it anymore. I couldn't keep living that chaotic lifestyle of being abused and abusing others. I had asked my grandparents for help. After they agreed to help me, because of my addiction, I had continued to disappear as one does, and I had gotten picked up for an assault charge. Upon my release, I was so overwhelmed with the shame, and I got high, and I told them I was finally serious this time. And we had knew about the Teen Challenge program because my father had gone to the men's center that is in BC. And we all knew that I needed a long-term faith-based treatment program. I applied for Teen Challenge in the beginning of September. I moved my life from Alberta and came through the doors of the Prairie Hope Women's Center on October 28th of 2025. And I am overjoyed to share that I am now 11 months clean and free from the shackles of my substance abuse and alcoholism. Through this program, I have become a new woman. I don't recognize who I was before I had even come into the program, and I am no longer allowing addiction to control my life. All of the bitterness, hatred, and anger have now morphed into love, joy, acceptance. Though I have endured an abundance of hardships, I would not change a thing. Everything I have gone through has made me a stronger woman. Because of that, I am learning what it means to have true freedom through my faith, and I can not only forgive, but be forgiven. This next part's gonna kind of get to me, I can feel it. Because of the Teen Challenge program, I had gotten the honor of reconciling my relationship with my father before he suddenly and unexpectedly passed away on June 27th. Oh, and there we go. None of my family and most of his friends had gotten that opportunity. I had taken a temporary leave of absence this past month to go back home to Alberta to be with my family to help and help my auntie plan his funeral. If I had not grown so much in my faith and in my recovery, I most likely wouldn't be speaking to you all today. I had gotten through this period of extreme trials and tribulations by the grace of God. I was able to be away from the center for a month without relapsing or even thinking about it. I had gained so many valuable tools to use amidst the sea of temptations. Losing my father had made me realize how precious life is and how quickly it can be taken away from each and every one of us. It changed my perspective of my addiction completely. I have now grown to hate the substances that not only destroyed my life, but took away my father's. After my time at home, I can now see how much my hard work has truly been paying off. The trust that I had completely broken between my family and friends has been rebuilt, and they can now see me as a dependable and reliable woman. My family can call to me in times of needs, and my friends can reach out to me now for advice. My best friend's mom, after seeing me suffer for years and years, is finally able to say now that her daughter has her friend back. If you had asked me last year if I thought that this is where I would be right now, I would honestly say that you were just joking. I wouldn't be the woman I am right now if it wasn't for the staff at the center. They have been so patient and understanding. They encourage me every single day to take the steps that I need to take in order to grow. They have taught me to be able to trust again, to be transparent with my thoughts and feelings, and to take accountability for my actions. The other clients can now seek to me to encourage them through their own programs, and I can be an inspiration for them. I can actually envision a future for myself for the first time in my life. After my graduation in a couple months, I intend on staying for 6 additional months to do the Phase 4 internship program because I want to help other people find the same freedom from their addiction that I have found. A scripture that's been helping me get through my hard days is from Job 36, verses 15 through 16. God rescues the afflicted by their affliction. He instructs them by their torment. Indeed, he lured you from the jaws of distress, and he placed you into a spacious and unconfined place. God rescued me from my affliction. God instructs me every single day through my own torments. And yes, indeed, God lured me, just a small town girl from Alberta, from the jaws of distress, and he placed me into a spacious and unconfined place. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for your continued prayers and support.
Oh, yes, you are taller. Thank you so much, Cadence. And we're so glad you did come back to us because you could have chosen, right? And you came back to finish the program, finish the work God has begun in you, and he's only just begun, right? And he will continue to walk with both of you and all of us. Thank goodness for that, eh? Amen for that. And you were sharing with me, I always out them up here, but you were sharing with me how one of your family members said, you're a totally different person. New creation, like the verse Bev read. That she's a brand new creation. She isn't the same person. None of us are when we come to Jesus. I'm very grateful for that. I'll just quickly share our recovery model with you. I know I talked a little bit with you, so it's a place of refuge. I talked about that safe place, which is so important to just have that time. And then we have addictions counseling. We have addiction counselors at each of our centers that do groups, but also personally meet with each lady. And then there's the education and spiritual formation, which I also talked about, how it was like more intense than Bible school for me. It could have been my age too, hadn't been in school for a while, but I seriously know it was awesome. So much character quality memorization, Bible verse memorization, essays, like read the book of Job and write an essay on it. Okay, but it's how you get into the word and get it hidden in your heart. So all that great stuff. And then we have equipping and life skills. So at our men's center, they have an amazing wood shop. And so they go in there and they get to make beautiful things that we can auction off at our big events or just to give away or whatever. But they've been making coffee tables and coasters and all kinds of amazing stuff. And the women have, they have a commercial kitchen, so they can all learn food safe and cooking in there. And we have a 10,000 square foot garden where they plant, grow, and harvest all their own food, and then all the canning you do, and so that they can eat all winter long, because we do rely on donations and for food too. So yeah, you can grow your own food and just other things that you get to do around there. I know the ladies go and volunteer at another ministry, thrift shop, Gospel Echoes, if anyone's ever heard of that, and they do prison ministry, so they also, give back, and I know the men do stuff like that too. Cadence mentioned Phase 4 internship. So recovery doesn't just, we don't just say, oh, you graduated for the year, see ya, good luck. We really love to invest in recovery, and so we have opportunities. It might be that someone is just like, I don't feel I'm ready to go home, or I just don't feel I'm ready yet. Or God's calling me to serve and share my hope with these other new clients that are coming through the one-year program. So there's opportunities to stay longer. And actually, 25% of our staff are graduates of the program, are staff like me, which is so cool because we're in the centers and we're working and we've been there, we've walked it, so we can have that compassion and that empathy. And that's kind of our sharing today. We have a back table there with all kinds of information, and we love talking to you. We love meeting you. Maybe you know someone that's struggling. Maybe you have a coworker or a family member that's struggling in addiction. So we'd love to talk to you more, answer all your questions. Or maybe you just want to ask these ladies, well, what does a day look like at Prairie Hope? It's very structured, but come and ask them and they can tell you what they get up and what they do till they go to bed, and stuff like that. We have all kinds of amazing stuff you can take with you if you need some resources. And we did hand out our Journey card today. Journey is our sponsorship program, because as you know, we're not government funded. If we did take funding from them, then they would probably take Jesus out of our program, and Jesus is the reason for our program. And so God is amazing because of faithful donors like you and people like you that help us keep our doors open. And so this program, if God puts it on your heart, and you can take it home, you can pray about it. If He is putting that on your heart, the nice thing about the Journey, you can do a one-time gift or you can do monthly giving. But monthly giving, you can choose any amount that works for you or your budget. So if it's $5 a month, that adds up, and God does the increase, and so that's amazing, whatever it is for you. So I just wanted to share that with you. And once again, thank you. Thank you for having us into your church. We would love to come back anytime. And we'd just love to talk to you more, answer any questions, and most importantly, be here as a resource if you need someone, if you have or know someone who needs help, because recovery from addiction is possible, and there is hope, right? So I'll call Bev back up maybe to close, but thank you for having us.